Imagine for a moment adding a full decade of vibrant, healthy life to your years. And I'm not just talking about, extending your lifespan, but really enriching it, making those extra years just burst with energy and purpose and joy.
Yeah, that's the dream, isn't it? Not just more years, but better years.
Exactly. Because for too long, the story around aging has been, well, pretty bleak, right? Gradual decline, inevitable surrender to more meds, more limitations.
Right, this sort of accepted narrative of just fading.
But what if the secret's to not just slowing that down, but maybe actively reversing some aspects of aging? What if they aren't in the latest fad diets or those crazy intense workouts or, expensive medical stuff?
Things that often feel out of reach for most people.
Right. What if instead they're much simpler, more profound even, and incredibly accessible, like hiding in plain sight?
That's an intriguing idea.
So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. We're looking at 7 habits for a decade more of vibrant life. And this comes from some truly remarkable, extensive research.
Yeah, the sources here are pretty compelling.
Especially this one groundbreaking 30-year study. It followed, get this, 122,000 people.
Wow, that's a massive cohort.
It is. And what they found, well, it really challenges a lot of the conventional wisdom we hear about getting older.
I bet it does.
So our mission here is to really explore how these simple but quite profound lifestyle shifts can make the difference between just sort of existing in your later years and truly thriving.
Adding life to the years, not just years to the life.
Precisely. Adding rich, fulfilling life to those years.
What really stands out immediately in the material you shared is this critical distinction they make between biological age and chronological age.
Yes. That's fundamental, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's key to understanding how much control, how much agency we actually have over our aging process right down at the cellular level. It doesn't matter how many candles are on the cake.
So your chronological age, that's fixed. Your birthday.
Right? Can't change that. But your biological age, that reflects the actual health, the function, the resilience of your cells, your tissues, your organs.
Okay.
That's remarkably adaptable. It's dynamic. It can actually, move forward or backward depending on the lifestyle choices you make every single day.
That's huge. So you're not just stuck with the age your driver's license says.
Not biologically, no. And to really bring this idea home, our discussion today, it's largely going to follow the story of Margaret.
Right, the 87-year-old.
That's her. An extraordinary woman whose personal transformation, well, it vividly embodies these exact habits we're talking about.
Her journey started pretty rough, though, right? Health struggles.
Oh, absolutely. Significant struggles. A pretty grim prognosis back in her mid-60s. But today, you wouldn't believe it, incredible vitality.
Running half marathons, you said, at 87.
Running half marathons, traveling the world with just boundless energy. She has this zest for life that honestly rivals people decades younger. And the really powerful takeaway from her story and from all the research is that this isn't about, fancy treatments or complicated genetics or things only the wealthy can afford. No, it's about cultivating these accessible, simple, sustainable habits. Things that work with your body's natural wisdom.
Okay, working with your body, not against it.
Exactly. Which really raises an important question for all of us, doesn't it? What if this path to vibrant longevity is actually far simpler, maybe even more enjoyable, and definitely more sustainable than we've been led to believe by, well, a lot of the health industry?
The real secrets are just hiding in plain sight, waiting for us.
Precisely, waiting for us to rediscover them.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. In Margaret's story, it really is a profound wake-up call. So let's start right there.
Okay.
When she was 65, she described receiving this diagnosis as, quote, the worst day of my life.
Wow.
She's sitting in her doctor's office, a respected cardiologist, and the news. It was just undeniably grim. Her tests painted this bleak picture. Early signs of heart disease were already showing up.
Oh, dear.
Her blood pressure was dangerously high and really stubborn,
Yeah.
resistant to the medication she was on. And she was pre-diabetic, blood sugar just creeping up even though she was trying hard to, restrict certain foods.
So doing what she thought was right, but it wasn't enough?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then adding to all that, her doctor mentioned seeing these accelerated aging markers, basically saying her body, functionally, was behaving more like an 85-year-old.
Oh, at 65. That must have been devastating to hear.
Can you imagine? And the doctor's prognosis, well, it offered very little comfort. He basically suggested these conditions were, unfortunately, normal for her age.
The dreaded normal for your age line.
Right. And that her future would likely mean just more medications, regular hospital visits, and this inevitable gradual decline in her quality of life.
Accepting the decline.
But this is where Margaret's story really takes that turn. Because she'd always been, a fighter. And she absolutely refused to accept that future. She wouldn't settle for that narrative. She just firmly believed there had to be another way, a path not just to living longer, but to living better, with real vitality.
And Margaret's fierce refusal, her rejection of normal aging as this inevitable downhill slide, it aligns perfectly with some really groundbreaking research that's fundamentally changing how we understand longevity.
Okay, so she started digging.
She did. Her personal quest for answers led her to explore two incredibly important sources of insight. First, she dove into Harvard's longest-running study on human happiness and longevity.
Oh, the Grant study. Or the Gluck study, one of those long ones.
Exactly. An extraordinary investigation, following the same people for over 80 years, meticulously documenting their lives, revealing these astonishing secrets about what really contributes to a long, healthy, and happy life.
80 years. The data must be incredible.
Unbelievable. And secondly, she immersed herself in the findings from the Blue Zone studies.
Ah, yes. Okinawa, Sardinia, those places.
That's them. These remarkable regions around the world, Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya, Costa Rica, where people routinely live active lives well past 100, often free from the chronic diseases that plague us elsewhere.
So what does she learn from combining those two perspectives?
Well, these findings completely revolutionized her understanding of successful aging. She realized that the conventional wisdom, which often just focuses on managing symptoms and sort of passively accepting decline, it was missing crucial pieces of the puzzle, interconnected pieces. What she learned was that vibrant longevity isn't about, striving for some impossible perfection or constantly depriving yourself.
Right, not about suffering.
Not at all. It's about consistency in the right areas, often surprisingly simple areas, and working with your body's innate wisdom rather than trying to force it into submission.
So shifting from fighting decline to actively nurturing vitality.
Precisely. These sources basically taught her that, genetics play a role, sure, but our lifestyle choices, they are the truly powerful, modifiable determinants of how well and how long we live.
It's incredible, isn't it? How just a shift in perspective, backed by that kind of deep research, can completely change someone's path.
It really is.
So, armed with this new understanding, Margaret started making changes. And she began with habits that, honestly, challenged almost everything she thought she knew about health and fitness.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Let's dive into her first crucial habit, because it directly contradicts so much of what the modern fitness industry promotes. Habit 1. Margaret stopped trying to live and work out like she was 30.
Ah, a big one. Letting go of that pressure.
A truly radical shift for her. For years, she'd been pushing herself through these high-intensity gym workouts, thinking that was the only way to stay fit.
Like so many of us are told, go hard or go home.
Exactly. But those sessions, they consistently left her just exhausted, often injured, and frankly, deeply discouraged. It created this cycle. Exert, then crash, then feel bad about it.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Unsustainable.
Totally. So instead, she embraced what the researchers call age-appropriate vitality.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It's not about becoming sedentary, not at all. It's about choosing gentle, consistent movement throughout the day, movement that's integrated naturally into your life, rather than these sporadic, high-intensity bursts that just lead to exhaustion or injury or make you just give up altogether.
Makes sense. More sustainable, less intimidating.
And her specific example is so wonderfully simple, it almost seems too easy to actually work.
Sure.
She started taking 3 leisurely 15-minute walks, one after each meal.
Just walking after eating.
Yeah, something her grandmother used to swear by, apparently. Margaret had always dismissed it as, old-fashioned, not real fitness.
Right, not hardcore enough.
But the impact, it was surprisingly swift and profound. Within just 6 weeks of doing this consistently, just the walks, she noticed those awful post-meal energy crashes. They just vanished.
Yeah.
Gone.
Wow.
She started sleeping more soundly than she had in years. And to her delight, her clothes started fitting better, all without any conscious changes to her diet at that point.
That's remarkable from just walking.
It really highlights how powerful consistency and gentle, well-timed movement can be, especially as we get older.
That's a perfect illustration. And the science behind why this gentle approach is so incredibly potent for longevity, especially for seniors, it's really compelling.
Okay, tell us about that.
Our source material explains the physiological mechanisms. So when you engage in gentle movement, like Margaret's post-meal walks, you're sending a direct signal to your body. Use the food you just ate for immediate energy. Don't shunt it off to fat storage.
Okay, use it now.
Exactly. But even more critically, this post-meal movement is fundamental in preventing those dangerous spikes in blood sugar.
Right, which we hear a lot about.
And these spikes, as the research shows, they aren't just a concern for diabetics or pre-diabetics. They are a major accelerator of aging at the cellular level for everyone.
How does that work? Accelerating aging.
They do it by creating these things scientists call advanced glycation end products. AGEs for short.
AGEs, got it.
Think of AGEs as, well, like internal rust.
Internal rust, okay, that's a vivid image.
Yeah. When you have excess sugar molecules floating around in your bloodstream, they can bind haphazardly to proteins and fats, and this creates these rigid, cross-linked structures.
Okay, and that's bad.
Very bad. This process can stiffen your arteries, it can damage the collagen in your skin, leading to wrinkles, it can impair nerve function, and it contributes to chronic inflammation throughout your entire body. It literally ages your body from the inside out.
Wow. So those simple walks were doing way more than just burning calories.
Oh, way more. They were fundamentally mitigating this internal rusting process, protecting her cells from premature damage, essentially dialing back her biological clock.
So she realized, as you said, timing mattered more than intensity.
Exactly, a pivotal insight. And that leads us directly into her second life-extending habit, which reveals an even bigger truth about how our bodies change with age and what they really need.
That explanation of AGEs, that internal rust, really makes it click. So if timing matters so much for movement, what about when we eat? This second habit Margaret adopted, it challenged a lot of modern lifestyle patterns.
Our late-night eating culture, perhaps?
Precisely. It suggests that a significant number of people, especially maybe those over 60, are likely eating at what is effectively the wrong time for their biology.
Okay. And this isn't about what you eat, necessarily.
No, and that's the crucial point here. This isn't about restricting calories or, cutting out entire food groups, which is often the advice given, right?
Yeah.
And it leads to frustration, sometimes even nutrient deficiencies.
Right, the usual deprivation approach.
Instead, this is all about when you eat. Margaret learned about something called circadian eating.
Syncing with your body clock.
Exactly. Aligning your meals with your body's natural rhythms, its metabolic cycles. And this seemingly simple change, it had more profound and positive effects on her sustained energy, her sleep quality, even her stubborn weight than any restrictive diet she'd ever tried.
More effective than dieting. That's significant.
Hugely. So in practice, how does she apply this? It was straightforward, but quite powerful. She started eating her largest, most substantial meal at breakfast.
Front-loading the calories.
Right. Capitalizing on that time when her metabolism was naturally at its peak, most efficient. Then she'd have a moderate-sized lunch to keep energy stable through the afternoon.
Okay.
And crucially, her dinner became light, focused on easily digestible foods. And she made sure to eat it at least 3 hours before bedtime.
Giving the digestive system a break overnight.
Exactly, allowing it ample time to rest and prepare for all that important repair work that happens while we sleep.
And the physiological impact of that, circadian eating, especially as we age, it's incredibly significant. The sources give compelling reasons why.
Like what?
Well, as we get older, our digestive systems just naturally become less efficient later in the day. They slow down.
Makes sense.
So eating heavy dinners forces our bodies to expend a lot of energy on digestion right when they should be winding down, preparing for those crucial rest, repair, and regeneration processes that happen during deep sleep.
Working overtime when they should be resting.
Exactly. And Margaret's doctors later explained something specific to her. Late-night eating directly disrupts the production of vital growth hormone.
Growth hormone, is that mostly for kids?
We need it throughout our lives. It's absolutely critical for cellular repair, tissue regeneration, maintaining muscle mass, keeping our metabolism humming.
Okay. So disrupting that is bad news for aging.
Very bad news. By consistently eating late, you're essentially creating an internal environment that accelerates the aging process. It directly contributes to things like increased body fat, reduced cellular repair, less restorative sleep, the very things that were threatening her health back at 65.
Wow. So it connects directly back to her initial problems.
Absolutely. And the transformation she experienced went way beyond just better digestion. She found she had the sustained, consistent energy all day long. No more afternoon crashes that had plagued her for years.
That alone sounds amazing.
Right. Her sleep became remarkably deeper, much more restorative. She woke up feeling genuinely rejuvenated. And perhaps most notably for her, she naturally started losing that stubborn weight, especially around her midsection, that hadn't budged with any diet she'd tried before.
And it wasn't about deprivation.
Not at all. It was about working in harmony with her body's natural clock. It's a holistic impact, metabolism, sleep, energy, all from simply listening to her body's rhythms.
It's just fascinating how these subtle shifts in when you do things can have such a profound effect, especially on basics like sleep and metabolism.
Yeah, timing is huge.
Now, Margaret's third habit.
Yeah.
This one was maybe the most surprising of all, because it involves something that most health experts actually warn us against.
Oh.
Stress. We're constantly told, reduce stress, avoid stress. Yet she began embracing what researchers call hormetic stress or productive stress.
Hormetic stress.
Yeah.
Productive stress. Okay, that sounds like a contradiction. What exactly is that? How did she make stress work for her?
Right. It seems counterintuitive.
It's a fantastic question, and it really highlights the nuance here. We need to be careful when we just say stress.
Good point.
Hormetic stress isn't the chronic, overwhelming anxiety or pressure we usually associate with negative stress, the kind that wears you down.
Okay, not that kind.
No. Instead, it's about deliberately introducing mild, beneficial challenges. Challenges that, rather than depleting you, actually force your body and mind to adapt and grow stronger.
Like exercise makes muscle stronger, that kind of stress.
Exactly like that. Think of it as a controlled exposure, almost like how a vaccine works. A small, manageable dose of challenge makes you more resilient to future, potentially larger stressors. It's positive stress, sometimes called eustress, and it strengthens these resilience pathways in both our brain and our body.
Okay, positive challenges that build resilience. Got it. What did Margaret do?
Her examples really bring it to life. At 65, she decided to learn Spanish.
Wow, ambitious.
And not just casually, like a real commitment to mastering a new language. She was amazed to find that not only was it possible, but that intense cognitive effort seemed to sharpen her memory, boost her focus, improve her overall cognitive abilities.
So using her brain in a new way.
Precisely. She also took up ballroom dancing with her husband.
Fun.
And a powerful triple challenge, right? Physical coordination, mental learning of new steps, and social engagement all rolled into one.
True, lots of layers there.
And she even started a small online business, selling the beautiful handmade crafts she'd always loved making as a hobby.
Turning a passion into something more.
Yeah. It gave her a new sense of purpose, constant problem solving, connection to a community. These activities actively fought against that mental and physical stagnation that can sometimes creep in later in life. It showed her, and shows us, that our capacity for growth absolutely does not diminish with age.
That makes so much sense. Exercising your resilience muscle, like you said. But I can imagine for many people, even thinking about learning a new language or starting a business later in life feels, well, incredibly daunting.
Oh, for sure. It can seem overwhelming.
So what did Margaret find was the key? How did she make these challenges feel invigorating rather than just stressful and too much? How can, you listening figure out your own good stress?
That's a crucial point. Margaret discovered, and the research strongly backs this up, that the type of challenge really matters.
Okay.
It should feel exciting. It should stretch your comfort zone a bit, yes. But, and this is key, it shouldn't overwhelm you or feel like some burdensome obligation you have to do.
Right. Not another chore.
Exactly. The sweet spot is finding activities that genuinely align with your interests, your values, things that spark your curiosity, give you a sense of purpose.
So things you actually want to do.
Yes. For Margaret, Spanish was a lifelong dream. Dancing was a shared joy with her husband. Crafting was a passion. So these challenges became sources of deep engagement and satisfaction, not just stress.
Okay, alignment with interests is key. What about the biological benefits? You mentioned resilience pathways.
Right. Biologically, these productive stressors trigger remarkable benefits. Study after study shows that people who continuously challenge themselves, new skills, experiences, learning, they experience dramatically slower rates of cognitive decline.
Slower decline, that's huge.
Huge. They maintain better physical function as they age, and they report significantly higher levels of life satisfaction and a stronger sense of purpose.
Wow.
Our sources highlight that this type of positive stress actually triggers the production of specific proteins that protect protect brain cells from damage. It improves cardiovascular health by making the heart more adaptable. It enhances immune function. And fascinatingly, it even positively influences the expression of genes associated with longevity, like sirtuins.
So it works on multiple levels: brain, body, even genes.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot, that challenge that invigorates you, stretches you, but doesn't deplete you. And Margaret was smart. She knew she had to balance this productive stress with something equally vital.
Which leads us to habit 4.
Exactly. Something that, frankly, 90% of seniors and probably most people of all ages don't get nearly enough of: genuine restoration.
That balance. Yes, challenge and restoration. It makes perfect sense. And this next habit, it really pushes back against our culture's almost relentless obsession with being busy, constantly doing things, being productive.
And cult of busyness.
This is where it gets really insightful. Margaret's 4th longevity habit is something that happens when you're not doing anything at all.
Stillness.
Exactly. It's apparently during these moments of complete stillness that your body performs some of its most profound anti-aging work that simply cannot happen when you're constantly stimulated, distracted, active.
Interesting. So doing nothing is actually doing something important.
That's the idea. Margaret discovered the profound healing power of what she called true rest. And this is different from just sleep, though sleep is vital too.
Okay, how's it different?
She's talking about deliberate periods of complete mental and physical stillness. Moments that allow your nervous system to fully reset, repair, and regenerate in ways that were impossible when she was constantly go, go, go.
Even go, go, go with good things, like her learning Spanish.
Yes. That's what she learned from the research. Chronic overstimulation, even from positive activities, keeps our nervous systems in this perpetual state of mild stress, like a low hum of alertness all the time.
Okay, never fully switching off.
Right. And that hinders the deep restoration our bodies need to age well and thrive. So Margaret started practicing what researchers call restorative activities.
Like what? Napping.
Not necessarily napping, more like dedicated, consistent time, maybe 20 to 30 minutes each day, to just sit quietly, maybe in her garden, just watching the birds, feeling the breeze, or listening to classical music. But here's the key: without any distractions.
No phone, no TV, no book.
Exactly. No screens, no books, nothing to actively process. Just being still. Conscious disengagement.
That sounds hard, actually, in our world.
It really does. In our constantly connected world where even many seniors are glued to screens, most people rarely, if ever, allow their nervous systems to fully relax and enter these essential, deep restorative states.
You know, this point cannot be overstated. If we connect this back to the bigger picture of longevity, the science behind this true rest shows exactly why it's just as vital, maybe even more so than any active intervention for healthy aging.
Really? As important as exercise or diet?
Think about it physiologically. When Margaret intentionally created these periods of complete stillness, her body could finally activate the parasympathetic nervous system.
That'd be the opposite of the fight or flight system.
Precisely. The parasympathetic system is our rest, digest, repair, and regenerate system. During these quiet periods, her blood pressure would naturally decrease. Stress hormones like cortisol would drop back to healthy baseline levels. Inflammation markers in her blood, those signs of chronic internal stress, would decrease significantly, and her body would dramatically ramp up production of growth factors and repair proteins.
So literally rebuilding and repairing.
Literally rebuilding and maintaining cells, tissues, organs that get worn down by daily life and stress. It's essential maintenance that can only happen effectively in this rested state.
Okay, that's the physical side. What about mentally?
Huge benefits there, too. Margaret noticed significant cognitive improvements. Better mental clarity, more emotional stability, sharper decision-making.
From just sitting quietly.
Researchers think this is partly because it allows the brain's default mode network to activate.
Default mode network, what's that?
It's a network of brain regions that becomes active when we're not focused on the outside world. It's crucial for performing essential mental housekeeping, things like consolidating memories, processing emotions, integrating information, even fostering creativity, all vital for sustained cognitive health as we age.
So letting your brain do its background processing.
Exactly. The key insight Margaret gained, and what the research strongly reinforces, is that rest isn't laziness. It's not self-indulgence. It's a crucial research-backed component of longevity.
Something our culture makes us feel guilty about sometimes.
Unfortunately, yes. But those who regularly incorporate genuine rest, true stillness into their lives, They undeniably experience longer, healthier, more fulfilling lives with greater resilience.
That's such a powerful reframing of rest, not a luxury, but a biological imperative.
Okay, let's talk food again. Because Margaret's fifth habit was also pretty revolutionary in how it changed her relationship with eating. But again, not in the way you might expect from all the, typical diet advice aimed at seniors. So how did she approach this really fundamental part of daily life?
It's a great question because, again, Margaret didn't go on some highly restrictive diet. She didn't eliminate whole food groups or start obsessively counting every calorie.
Things that rarely stick long-term, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. They often lead to frustration, rebound weight gain, nutrient gaps, especially as we get older. Instead, she discovered what nutritional scientists are increasingly calling the longevity plate principle.
The longevity plate principle. Okay, what's the principle?
It's an incredibly insightful way of combining and sequencing foods at each meal. The goal is to optimize their health benefits while also making the meals more satisfying and genuinely enjoyable.
Optimize benefit to make it enjoyable. That sounds good.
Right. And the genius is in its simplicity. The secret isn't about avoiding certain foods like carbs or fats. It's about how you combine them and in what order you eat them at each meal.
The order matters.
Seriously.
These factors, combination and order, can dramatically influence how quickly sugars enter your bloodstream, your inflammation levels, how well you absorb certain nutrients, and your overall metabolic health.
Fascinating. So what was her sequence?
She started implementing a very specific sequence, almost like a mindful ritual, at every single meal. First, she'd begin with a small, healthy portion of fats.
Fats first. Like what? Think a few slices of avocado, maybe a small handful of nuts, or a drizzle of high-quality olive oil.
Okay, fat first. Then what?
Followed by her serving of high-quality protein. Could be lean meat, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, tofu.
Protein second. Got it.
Third, a generous portion of colorful, non-starchy vegetables. Lots of fiber and micronutrients there.
Veggies third. Okay.
And finally, only after eating those components, the fat, the protein, the veggies, then she would include any grains or starches she wanted to enjoy, like maybe some brown rice or quinoa or a piece of sourdough bread.
So carbs last. Interesting. Why does that order work?
Well, starting with fat and protein significantly slows down gastric emptying and the subsequent absorption of carbohydrates. This prevents those sharp blood sugar spikes and crashes we talked about earlier with the AGEs.
It connects back to the blood sugar control.
Exactly. And eating fats first also helps with the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, K from the vegetables you eat later in the meal.
Smart. Getting more bang for your nutritional buck?
Precisely. This thoughtful sequencing ensured she was getting the most out of every bite, not just flavor-wise, but for sustained energy and metabolic balance.
That sequencing strategy is incredibly clever. Fat, protein, veggies, then carbs. Makes total sense when you explain the blood sugar part. But what else did Margaret add to her plate, or maybe her cooking, to really supercharge her nutrition for longevity?
Right. Building on that foundation, the real game changer in her nutritional transformation, according to the sources, was when she started intentionally adding what scientists are now calling longevity spices and herbs to almost every meal.
Longevity spices? Like, what are we talking about?
Think turmeric, ginger, garlic, cinnamon, rosemary, oregano, cloves, cayenne, many others. These aren't just about making food taste good, though they certainly do that. They are powerful, nutrient-dense ingredients. They've been revered in traditional medicine for thousands of years, and now modern research is extensively proving they have remarkable anti-aging properties.
Okay, so ancient wisdom meets modern science. What do they do?
Well, these spices contain unique bioactive compounds that actively reduce inflammation throughout the body. And we know chronic inflammation is a silent driver of so many age-related diseases.
Right, the underlying fire.
Exactly. They also support brain health and memory, helping protect against cognitive decline. They offer robust protection against major age-related diseases like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even certain cancers.
Wow, that's a lot of benefit from spices.
And it gets better. Fascinatingly, some of these compounds can even positively influence the expression of our longevity genes. They can help activate pathways within our cells that repair damage and promote cellular resilience.
Turning on the good genes, turning off the bad ones kind of thing.
In a sense, yes. Influencing gene expression towards a healthier, longer lifespan. Margaret, for instance, learned to make what she calls her golden paste.
Golden paste.
Yeah, a potent mixture of turmeric, ginger, little black pepper, which dramatically boosts the absorption of turmeric's active compound, curcumin, and some coconut oil, or another healthy fat. She adds it to soups, smoothies, stirs it into yogurt, gets it in daily.
Simple way to get a power dose.
Exactly. And she also started growing fresh herbs in her kitchen garden: basil, rosemary, thyme, making them staples in her cooking, adding freshness and more of those beneficial compounds.
So it's about flavor and function.
Absolutely. And the transformation in her actual health markers was truly remarkable. Her systemic inflammation levels, measured by C-reactive protein, dropped significantly. Her cholesterol ratios improved dramatically. Her blood pressure stabilized finally, and her energy became consistently high, unwavering.
Incredible results.
And the key again was sustainability. This approach was enjoyable, flavorful, deeply satisfying. It wasn't punishing, so she stuck with it long term.
So she wasn't just eating better, she was eating smarter, using timing, sequencing, and the power of these amazing spices. Really holistic.
Okay, shifting gears a bit now, beyond the physical stuff. Margaret's sixth habit challenged everything she thought she knew about social connections in later life.
The social piece, critically important.
And this is something many of us might relate to, especially after big life changes like retirement. What did this habit mean for her relationships?
Well, this discovery came at a really pivotal time for Margaret. Like a lot of people, after retirement, she found herself feeling increasingly isolated. She'd left her career, lost daily contact with colleagues, maybe some acquaintances drifted away.
Yeah, that's a common experience.
And she'd always been told, maintain a large social network, stay busy, see lots of people, that was important for health. But what she discovered, both through her research and her own experience, was a really crucial distinction.
Which was?
The quantity of your social connections matters far, far less than their quality.
Quality over quantity. We hear that, but what does it really mean in practice? Well, here's the surprising and maybe somewhat sobering downside that came out in the research she looked at. The wrong kinds of social relationships can actually be detrimental.
The wrong kinds? Like what?
Relationships that are draining, maybe consistently negative, overly demanding emotionally, or based more on obligation than genuine connection and mutual support.
Okay. Those can actually harm your health.
The research suggests yes. They can actually accelerate biological aging and increase your risk of disease rather than supporting health and longevity. They can keep your stress hormones like cortisol elevated, drive chronic inflammation, essentially creating wear and tear.
Wow. So it's not just about having connections, but having the right ones.
Exactly. So instead of chasing a large network or feeling obligated to maintain draining ties, Margaret made a conscious, intentional decision. She chose to focus her energy on deepening a smaller number of truly meaningful relationships.
Okay, smaller circle, deeper connection.
Right. Relationships with people who genuinely energized her, who supported her growth, who shared her values and interests, and where there was this mutual positive regard, this intentional shift towards authentic connection had measurable positive effects on her health markers, which even surprised her doctor.
That's a truly profound point. It really redefines what social health means, doesn't it? It's not about popularity contests or having a huge calendar, but about genuine, reciprocal, uplifting connection.
Precisely.
So, what specific shifts did Margaret make? How did she actually cultivate these higher quality relationships day to day?
Exactly. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, those long-running studies on human longevity, like the Harvard study of adult development, they consistently show that the quality and depth of our relationships are among the very strongest predictors of how long we'll live and how healthy and happy those years will be.
Stronger than cholesterol or exercise, really.
Yep. Even stronger in some analyses than factors like cholesterol levels, blood pressure, or even exercise habits. It's truly fundamental to our well-being, and the sources are explicit. Those draining, negative, obligation-based relationships. They can increase stress hormones, suppress immune function, accelerate aging processes. They create a real physiological toll.
Okay, so the stakes are high for relationship quality. What improvements did Margaret see?
Her shift resulted in measurable improvements, things like decreased inflammatory markers that are often linked to loneliness and social stress. Her cortisol patterns normalized, her immune function measurably improved, and she reported a significantly increased sense of optimism and purpose in her daily life.
Tangible health benefits from changing her social focus.
Absolutely. And she found practical, actionable ways to do it. For instance, she started volunteering at a local animal shelter.
Finding purpose and connection.
Yes. It connected her with like-minded people who shared her passion, and it gave her this profound sense of contributing, of purpose. She also joined a book club, but one based on genuine intellectual interests, not just social obligation. That led to stimulating discussions and new friendships built on shared ideas. And crucially, she started prioritizing daily meaningful conversations. Conversations that went beyond superficial small talk.
Deeper connection.
Yeah, sharing experiences, expressing gratitude, offering and receiving real support, exploring ideas together. She also discovered the huge benefit of intergenerational relationships.
Connecting with different age groups.
Yes, mentoring younger people, maybe learning from younger people too. It provided both a sense of purpose and fresh mental stimulation, keeping her perspective broad.
That's a great point.
And even her closest relationship, her marriage, got attention. She and her husband started having these weekly relationship meetings.
Relationship meetings. Tell me more.
Sounds formal, but it was just dedicated time, maybe over coffee, to intentionally share appreciations, maybe talk through any challenges calmly, and plan future adventures together, big or small. It reinforced that it's the ongoing quality and satisfaction within all our important relationships, including our primary partnership, that truly drives those longevity benefits.
That idea of a relationship meeting is surprisingly insightful, just being intentional about nurturing what we often take for granted. Okay, now we arrive at what you suggested is arguably the most powerful habit of all, the one that sort of permeates and amplifies all the others. So what does this seventh and final habit entail? Why is it so transformative?
The seventh habit, it really involves a fundamental shift in mindset. It's powerful, but can also be challenging. Most people, especially maybe as they enter their later decades, tend to approach aging through a lens that focuses on what they're losing.
Yeah, the narrative of decline, limitation, loss. It's everywhere in our culture, isn't it? So youth-obsessed.
It really is. Margaret, however, began this deliberate, consistent practice of celebrating what she was gaining as she got older, shifting the focus entirely.
From loss to gain. Okay. How did she do that? Just decide to be positive?
It was more structured than that. Her chosen tool was something she called a vitality journal.
A vitality journal?
Yeah. Each day, she would simply write down 3 things, just 3, that genuinely made her feel alive, engaged, and grateful that day.
Okay.
And this wasn't about forcing positivity or ignoring challenges. It was about actively noticing and appreciating specific moments.
Like what kind of moments?
It could be anything. Learning something new that stretched her mind, like finally grasping a tricky Spanish verb conjugation. Helping someone else in a meaningful way, maybe a younger volunteer at the animal shelter needed some advice. Experiencing a moment of just profound beauty in nature, like watching a bird build its nest outside her window, connecting deeply with a loved one during a really heartfelt conversation, or even just feeling strong and capable in her own body during one of her post-meal walks, or nailing a step in her dance lesson.
So tuning into moments of aliveness, engagement, gratitude.
Exactly. This consistent practice of actively focusing on vitality, on growth, on possibility rather than dwelling on decline, it had profound, measurable effects on her health and longevity, effects that surprised even the researchers studying positive psychology and aging. It really became the bedrock supporting all her other habits.
That's truly powerful, deliberately shifting your internal narrative from loss to gain. It sounds almost too simple, maybe, but you're saying the science really backs this up, that our thoughts, our mindset can have such a profound physical impact.
Absolutely. And this is where that mind-body connection just undeniably shines. What's fascinating here is the incredible documented power of our thoughts, our beliefs, our outlook to directly influence our physical health and the actual aging process itself.
Okay, how so?
Well, the research Margaret encountered shows that having an optimistic outlook, a positive attitude towards aging itself, can add up to 7 years to your lifespan.
7 years, just from mindset.
7 additional years on average. People with these positive mindsets about aging also have measurably lower rates of heart disease. They tend to have stronger immune systems, more effective at fighting off illness. They show better resilience to stress, and they even show observable changes in gene expression that actively promote longevity.
Changing gene expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Further scientific evidence links positive attitudes about aging to better memory function, significantly lower rates of dementia, faster recovery times from illness and injury, and even, get this, longer telomeres.
Telomeres, those caps on our chromosomes. the markers of biological age.
The very same. Longer telomeres are associated with younger biological age. So a positive mindset about aging seems to literally help keep you younger at a cellular level.
That's incredible. So this isn't just, power of positive thinking fluff. It's physiology.
It's tangible physiological impact. It's about reframing aging for you, the listener, focusing on the genuine benefits and opportunities that absolutely come with age and accumulated experience.
Like what kind of benefits?
Think about it. The profound wisdom gained over decades, the freedom, often from many pressures and insecurities of youth, the clarity about what truly matters in life, the enhanced ability to prioritize genuine fulfillment over, say, external validation. Margaret started to truly see her age as an asset, her experience as invaluable wisdom, her continued growth as a gift.
Seeing age as an asset, not a liability.
Exactly. And this fundamental shift in perspective, it influenced every single other habit she adopted. It brought gratitude to her walks, appreciation to her meals, intentional self-care to her rest periods, and it celebrated her brain's growth during her learning pursuits.
So it connected everything.
It created this powerful upward spiral. Positive thoughts led to positive behaviors, which led to positive health outcomes, which then reinforced that positive mindset, a virtuous cycle of vitality.
It's truly amazing how all these seemingly simple habits just converge, isn't it? Seeing them through Margaret's journey, it becomes so clear they aren't just isolated practices.
Not at all. They weave together.
And this is where it gets really transformative, I think. These 7 habits, they don't just add up arithmetically, they seem to work synergistically.
That's a key point from the research, yes. Synergy.
Their combined effects are far greater than the sum of their individual parts. The benefits multiply exponentially when you implement them together. It creates this powerful, self-reinforcing system rather than just trying to perfect one or two things in isolation.
Right, it's holistic.
And Margaret's journey is such a powerful testament to this. She didn't try to implement all 7 habits overnight. That would be overwhelming, right? Probably lead to quick burnout.
Absolutely. Too much, too soon, rarely works.
Instead, she started small, with something manageable. Those post-meal walks. Because they felt immediately beneficial, they were easy to integrate. Then she gradually added the other habits, one by one, over the course of about a year.
Building momentum.
Exactly. Building on her successes, allowing each new habit to become natural, almost automatic, before consciously layering in the next one.
Sustainable change.
And the results.
Yeah.
They really do speak for themselves. 5 years after starting this journey, comprehensive biological age tests showed Margaret was physically and cognitively younger than she was back at 65 when she got that grim diagnosis.
Younger biologically. Incredible.
Her doctors now confidently estimate that these habits have added at least 10 to 15 healthy, vibrant years to her life expectancy. And just as importantly, dramatically improved her quality of life during those years, making them truly active, joyful years.
That's the goal, isn't it? Quality and quantity.
And the really empowering message here for you listening is that it's truly never too late to start. It doesn't matter what your current age is, 55, 75, 85, even older. Your health status right now, your circumstances, none of that is an absolute barrier. Your body possesses this incredible inherent capacity to heal, to adapt, to regenerate when you consistently give it the right conditions and support.
And that's precisely the bigger picture here, isn't it? Margaret's story, backed by all this extensive research, it absolutely dispels that pervasive myth that achieving longevity, vibrant longevity, requires expensive, complicated, or inaccessible solutions.
Yeah, you don't need the fancy gym or the miracle pills.
Exactly. There's no inherent need for costly supplements promising miracles, or convoluted diet plans that cut out everything you enjoy, or hours of punishing exercise that leaves you exhausted and injured, or even expensive medical interventions that often just treat symptoms without addressing the root causes of age-related decline.
So what's the alternative?
What the evidence consistently points to is the profound power of consistency with these 7 simple, accessible habits. Habits that work with your body's natural wisdom, its built-in capacity for healing and vitality.
Simple, accessible, consistent.
Our sources are abundantly clear on this. These habits, when applied consistently over time, are more powerful for promoting vibrant longevity and healthy aging than pretty much any single medication, supplement, or medical intervention out there.
More powerful than a pill.
And their benefits compound significantly over time. They build on each other, which means the sooner you start, even small steps, the greater your long-term returns will be on this investment in yourself.
Makes sense. Compounding interest for your health.
Exactly. Now, I want you listening to just take a moment. Genuinely imagine yourself 1 year from now. Imagine you've started to gently implement just some of these 7 habits.
Okay.
Picture yourself waking up each morning with sustained energy, moving through your day with a newfound strength, maybe more confidence, truly enjoying nourishing, flavorful meals without guilt, engaging in deeper, more meaningful relationships, going to sleep at night with this profound sense of peace and satisfaction.
Sounds pretty good.
Imagine your doctor's genuine surprise, maybe even amazement, at your health markers during your next checkup. Imagine friends and family commenting on your infectious vitality, your zest for life. This vision, it doesn't have to be a fantasy, it can become your reality.
So how do you start?
As you reflect on all this, maybe ask yourself this important question. Which one of these habits resonates most deeply with you right now? Which one feels like the most natural, maybe the easiest starting point for your own journey?
Just pick one.
Just pick one. The practical next step isn't to try and revolutionize your entire life overnight. That's usually a recipe for failure. It's to commit to just one habit. Start there. Build confidence. As Margaret wisely shared, borrowing an old proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
But the second best time is today.
Exactly. The second best time is right now. The choice is truly yours to begin writing this new, vibrant chapter of your life.
What a powerful invitation to action. This deep dive, it really isn't just about understanding the science of living longer. It's about giving you the practical wisdom, the inspiration maybe, to add not just years to your life, but genuine life to your years.
Quality of life.
It's about ensuring your later decades are filled with boundless energy, profound joy, those deeply meaningful relationships we talked about, maybe exciting new experiences, and that deep satisfaction that comes from living fully, from taking excellent intentional care of yourself. Your future self is absolutely counting on the choices you make today.
Every choice matters.
And Margaret's extraordinary story is just such a powerful testament to the fact that truly the best years of your life can still be ahead of you, regardless of where you're starting from.
Which leaves us with perhaps one final compelling thought for you to carry forward from our conversation today.
Okay.
How might embracing just one of these simple yet truly profound habits begin to reshape your daily experience, your outlook on aging, starting as soon as today or tomorrow? What new possibilities might emerge from even that small commitment? Perhaps a sense of renewed energy you haven't felt in years. Deeper connections blooming, a clearer sense of purpose waking up. And how might that ripple effect, starting with just one habit, transform your overall sense of vitality and fulfillment in the year to come?
Food for thought.
The journey to that decade more of vibrant life, it really does begin with that first intentional step.